Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got a video by Austin Sweat titled One Trade Every NBA Team Must Make This Offseason. So I assume these are going to be like realistic trades. Let me know in the comment section below, guys. What's one team you think your favorite team needs to make? Me as a Piston fan, as much as I love them this season, guys, it's time to let go of Derrick Rose. Let him go compete for a championship. And, you know, as a collaboration, I think that's the right word. The Pistons will get, we'll trade him to the Warriors for the first pick, the second pick in the draft. Second pick, not the first pick. We don't want to be greedy. Although T-Wolves, you can have him back too. He dropped 50 for your team also, man. Did he have 50 for us? No, he had a game winner. I don't think he ever had 50 for the Pistons. I don't know. He had some really good games, though. So, yeah, here we go. One trade every NBA team must make this offseason.
We looked at 10 superstars.
Not an article. It's a video this time.
All those were a little more on the extreme side of things.
Has that article type of title, though.
One trade, the biggest trade that every NBA team needs to make. Not one that has to make them instantly a playoff team or become a championship team right away.
Yeah, just a smart move.
Them in the right direction based on where they're at.
Sure.
Whether that's for rebuilding or it is becoming a championship team. I may have a couple of repeats from my superstar video, but I tried to avoid those.
That's all right.
Switch things up while also mentioning the most important trade for everyone. So first up, we have the Cavs. And for them, I already talked about Kevin Love trades in the other video, which also, speaking of that, if you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the description. They should give Darius Garland more time before they trade him. So that leaves us with Andre Drummond, who they'll
player option,
let his contract expire. But if not, and they do want to make a deal for him, maybe they try to get some draft picks and a young player or two from a team like the Celtics or the Mavericks.
Good luck with that, man. Good luck with that, man. We literally tried that with the Pistons. We got Brandon Knight back. We literally got the human highlight reel for all the wrong reasons back on our team. Like, I'm sorry, like, nobody's gonna be paying. I mean, I guess maybe because he's an expiring contract. You know, if I'm the Cavaliers, I let it play out, man. Like, Andre Drummond's not a bad player. The Pistons got an atrocious trade for him, but I would play it out with him, man. Like, he's a good center for that team. You get a stretch big at the 4 spot. Maybe if you want to get younger, trade Kevin Love away. Although, of course, he could be that stretch big, but he's, you know, just kind of, he just doesn't really fit into the future of the team. But yeah, okay.
Who could really use a center? The Hawks. And the Hawks were a tough one. They have good enough assets to the
Need some
point where
veterans.
they could really trade for almost any young player in the league that they want. But they got young guys at every position already. So I think for them, they should wait a little bit longer to see how everyone.
I think go for Oladipo
before making any moves too early on. But if they want to try something big, I think they should try looking into trading up to the 3rd pick to draft James Wiseman. The Knicks.
Interesting.
The Knicks have Julius Randle averaging 20 and 10 for them, and let's be honest, they won't really be needing him.
The human ball stopper.
They're at the very beginning of a rebuild, so they should try to trade him and get back some value while they still can. And they could find good deals with the Suns, Wolves, Hornets, and Thunder, who could all use Randle, have young players to trade in return.
I like him on the Hornets, to be honest.
Pretty good draft picks to offer too. The Pistons.
Here we go.
The Pistons need to
Bro,
trade.
why you guys sound so salty when you say it, man?
Return and have some pretty good draft picks to offer too. The Pistons.
Bro, you just sound like you don't even want to say it, man. What are we gonna get?
Pistons need to trade Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin so they can start rebuilding. And seeing that Griffin will be much harder to find a trade for, their one trade for this video should be Derrick Rose. And there's a few scenarios that would really be great for the Pistons.
Let's hear it.
Like one to the Lakers for Kyle Kuzma and Quinn Cook could work.
I'm down for it.
Seeing how Kuzma...
I heard you all love the man Quinn Cook on the bus, Lakers. You had damn J.R. Smith front and center, man. Didn't play. Well, I don't think Quinn Cook played at all either. But still, man, like Quinn Cook literally got left of the arena after winning a championship. Can you imagine that? I felt bad for him. I'll definitely take Kyle Kuzma.
Been in the playoffs, maybe that's not such a good idea. If the Magic want to keep their playoff hopes alive, they could send over Wes Iwundu and a 1st-round pick, and that would be a good.
I ain't trading Bruce Brown. Hell no.
Then there's also a trade
I'll
to
keep
the
Bruce.
Sixers for a deal around Matisse Thybulle and Zaire Smith.
What? Yes.
Young players.
I like that.
The Lakers.
Yes.
I honestly think the best deal that the Lakers could make would be that one to Detroit for Derrick Rose, because obviously they don't need to do much and really don't have any other options either. The Clippers locker rooms lost respect for PG, so for that and
the NBA as a whole,
performance, he should go. And I'm really liking the Paul George deal to the Jazz from my last video. The Clippers really struggled with Jokic, so they could use Gobert, and the Jazz may also want to change things up. A trade to the Nets has been talked about too. That would probably send over some combination of Jared Allen.
Yeah, that's way too much for Paul George.
To the Clippers.
It's a lot of
that would
depth.
give LA a much needed offensive player at point guard, great rim protection, and a solid all-around scorer in LeVert. The Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets don't really need to make any trades this offseason, and I don't think they should give up on any of their young players too early. But instead of that, I think it would be more important for them to be more focused on trying to steal away an unrestricted free agent. I'd love to see them sign a guy like Serge Ibaka with all the extra money.
Yeah, I'd probably get rid of Paul Millsap at this
He's
point.
Perfect in Denver. If not him, there's guys like Van Vliet, Davis Bertans, and Bogdan Bogdanovic that would all fit great. The Jazz. If the Jazz plan on keeping most of their same squad together but want a small improvement somewhere, I'd love to see them swap Mike Conley for Chris Paul. It gives them one of the best playoff point guards in the NBA.
Would the Thunder do that? Maybe with a draft pick.
Contenders. And it would give OKC Conley's expiring contract if they just wanted to get out of it. Plus, they could probably get a first-round pick from Utah. The Kings.
If there's a pick, I would do
that.
If there was a
pick.
pick.
They should focus on is one for Buddy Hield. And there's a few good scenarios. To the 76ers for Al Horford and Josh Richardson. To the Celtics with Corey Joseph for Gordon Hayward and a first-round pick.
Interesting
to the
trades,
Grizzlies
not
for
bad.
Gorgie Jane's expiring deal. Dylan Brooks and a first-round pick. Or to the Hornets for Malik Monk and a first-rounder. The 76ers. I'd like to see Philly get a true point guard and change Ben Simmons' position to anywhere else on the court. They could do that by trading Josh Richardson and their 21st pick in the draft this year for Spencer Dinwiddie.
See, like, I'm cool with that, but I would also be okay, like, if they trade for, like, Buddy Hield and just have, like, a 2 shooting guard backcourt and then put Ben Simmons at, like, the 4 spot and just ran everything through him. Like, that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see him run like that old, like, 2012 Mario Chalmers at point guard, LeBron James handled the basketball type of lineup. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Dinwiddie can't really shoot. I mean, he's not, like, a bad... Well, no, he's not really that good of a shooter. Let's be honest. Like... That's the only reason I don't like that fit.
Potential and a lot of room to grow. Or Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, and that 21st pick for Chris Paul. Then either way from there, try to add another shooter to the team. The Miami Heat. Clearly, the Heat don't need
Gallinari
to besides develop, but maybe signing a guy like Serge Ibaka would be huge for
Serge
them.
would be cool.
Or even finding a trade for Kendrick Nunn. The Bucks. Milwaukee's in a bad position. They don't really have much trade value that they can spare. If they could make something work,
maybe
they
Dante,
should go for Dinwiddie, Drew Holiday, or even Dennis Schroeder. Those should be their priorities, but they're not as likely. So maybe instead they try to trade Eric Bledsoe for Monte Morris and Will Barton, and that'd be a little more likely and would switch things up for both teams. The Indiana Pacers. Victor Oladipo's denied the rumors that he wants to be traded, but usually in situations where multiple rumors come out, like they did for him, they turn out being true. So if the rumors are true, they could
Buddy
trade
Hield
him to the
straight
Kings
up.
for
Interesting
Buddy
trade,
Hield
not bad.
if Sacramento wants to risk him resigning there, or they could go for Gordon Hayward and a first-round pick to still keep themselves in the playoff picture. The Wolves. The Wolves are in a tricky situation here. They have Towns, Russell, and just drafted Culver.
Need a defensive 4.
Of course, with their luck, the 1 year they have the first overall pick, the top 3 players all play those same positions. I think they'll still draft Edwards or LaMelo, but if not, I say they try to trade down and land a deal.
Well,
like
Edwards, you don't
Hawks,
play.
where they trade the first overall pick
guard
for the 6th pick and DeAndre Hunter or maybe
Jared's a
Cam
3.
Reddish. The Mavs. The Mavs really don't have too much to offer in trade talks, but they need a big man. Preferably Rudy Gobert, but they probably aren't going to be able to afford him. They could go for Andre Drummond, though, and offer their 18th pick.
I feel like Powell's one of the most underrated centers last year when he's healthy.
The Magic. This one depends on whether they want to be in the playoffs or not, and depending on that, they should trade either Mo Bamba or Nikola Vucevic. For Vucevic, they could try to
I like that trade.
Wiggins for him, or for Mo Bamba, they could look for a deal around Darius Garland since they desperately need more guards. The Rockets. I mean,
they need more Garlands.
James
Get
Harden,
it?
which
It's
I
a
talked
joke.
about in my
Bad
previous
joke.
trading video. There's really not much this team can do. The Spurs. The Spurs have 4 big contracts expiring at the end of next season. Patty Mills, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Rudy Gay.
It's a lot of money
They could
freed
at
up.
least try to find deals for all 4 of them. I have no idea what those deals would be though. The Toronto Raptors.
Picks,
Fred
I
VanVleet,
think.
Serge Ibaka, and Marc Gasol's deals all expired at the end of this year. So their first priority needs to be deciding if they can re-sign all 3 or which 2 to re-sign. Then they can decide on trades or sign in trades from there.
Mark's already got
Wizards
1 foot out of the United
really
States.
don't
Actually, I
have
think he got
anything for
both
the
feet
Wizards.
out of there.
I don't think Beal's leaving and Wall's contract's untradeable. Their first priority besides the trade though should be re-signing Davis Bertans, who's an unrestricted free agent. The Hornets. The Hornets just aren't capable of making any trades this offseason. They should draft James Wiseman with the 3rd pick. Then
I mean, I think there's a package out there to have with like a Miles Bridges and like a Malik Monk. I think teams would be interested in that. I mean, 2 young players that could be, scoring guys. They already got, 2 point guards on the team with Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham. Maybe one of those guys to get shot. But I think there's definitely possibilities if they want to do like a 3-for-1 type of trade or something.
look to sign free agents. And okay, I know I'm supposed to be finding a trade for every team, but for some of these, it's just impossible to find one that really makes sense. The Bulls. The Bulls have been terrible recently. Now that Jim Boylan's gone, though, I think that'll make a big difference.
I'm trading
But
Thaddeus.
they still need to do something. I want them to try to move up in the draft and get the 2nd overall pick and draft LaMelo, but they don't have anything to offer the Warriors. So instead,
I would say a trade of Kobe White, Thaddeus Young, and Otto Porter. And their pick. That would definitely get you moved up, I think. And the Warriors, they get a good 3-point shooter, Otto Porter. They get Kobe White for a backup point guard. Thaddeus is a good veteran, and they still get a top 10 pick. I think that would somewhat be enough. What do you guys think, man? Or is that a bad trade? You guys let me know.
Maybe try to get the Atlanta Hawks to swap John Collins for Lowry Markkanen and a future first-round pick. Because the Hawks are being hesitant to pay John Collins big money, and Lowry's slacking on the Bulls. So maybe switching the two.
Well, I think that was Coach Clown's fault.
Nets. I said that I don't think Bradley Beal will move on from the Wizards, but we're looking at the best trade that each team should try to make, and from the Brooklyn Nets standpoint, they should try and get him for some combination of Jarrett Allen, Spencer
I would do that
Dinwiddie,
trade. That's a lot of depth, but I would still do it.
Serious big three. Or they could also trade Jarrett Allen and Spencer Dinwiddie to the Pelicans for Drew Holiday. Drew needs to be traded, and these guys are great young players to get in return. The Celtics have a great squad, and the only thing they really are missing this year was big men. And since they don't want to break up their core squad, they could trade Gordon Hayward with either Robert Williams or a draft pick to the
Damn,
for
that's
Aaron
a big time
Gordon
trade.
and Mo Bamba, and that could work out. It'd give the Celtics big men that they desperately need down low, and it would keep Orlando in the playoff picture if that's where they wanted to go. If not, a trade of Robert Williams, Carson Edwards, and a first-round pick for Jarrett Allen to be their starting center.
That's interesting. I do like Robert Williams
Too. The Thunder.
He could be that guy.
Thunder really couldn't be in a better position. With all the young players they have, though, they should look to find trades for Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, and Steven Adams. They should definitely trade these guys for young stars, but I'm not going to list off all the possible trades because between the three of them, there's hundreds of scenarios and good trades to be made.
We'll take them all in
The
Detroit
Blazers.
for.
So I said there wasn't much for the Spurs.
Kyrie.
But when thinking of
Kyrie
Portland,
Thomas.
I found one that works for both sides. So send LaMarcus Aldridge back to Portland for Zach
Hey,
Collins
I like
and
that
Trevor
trade.
Ariza. The hope in the front court would be huge for the Blazers, and they'll have the salary space to make it work. While on the other hand, the Spurs should do it only if they can't find anything better for Aldridge, because they'll get a young Zach Collins who's shown some potential as a good two-way big man. The Grizzlies may want to do something to try and stay in the playoff picture next year with the Warriors coming back and teams like the Pelicans.
Hey, they got
getting
Justice
better.
Winslow.
But again, if I was them, I'd be
He's ready to go.
hesitant give up on any of the rising stars too early on. For the Pelicans, they really need a young center going forward, and there are two deals for them that could make that work. One for Drew Holiday where they get Jarrett Allen and Spencer Dinwiddie in return, like I mentioned for the Nets, or the other where they trade JJ Redick and Josh Hart for Miles
Oh, I like
Turner,
that trade. I've been saying Miles Turner to the Pelicans forever.
for the Golden State Warriors.
I like
have
it.
The second overall pick and Andrew Wiggins, and they could do a lot of things here. Would probably benefit the most from getting a big man, so they can either try and trade Andrew Wiggins for Steven Adams, Andrew Wiggins for Nikola Vucevic, or try to find some deal revolving around him for Miles Turner and TJ.
That's a cap right there, man. I gotta say, that's a cap right there. Ain't no way they're gonna give a Bubba Warren and Miles Turner for Andrew Wiggins. I need about 17 first-round draft picks to give it a Bubba Warren.
Or for Rudy Gobert. All of them could work, some more likely than others, but I'd like to see them do something along those lines. Then finally we have the Suns, and honestly, the Suns don't need to do much. I like the direction they're finally headed.
Could use a
how
4.
good Kelly Oubre was for them this year, putting him.
Go for Kevin Love, maybe.
But the Suns went 8-0 without him in the bubble, so they could use him as a trade asset to get a power forward where they're still lacking. I didn't see many great ones, but there were a few, like Kelly Oubre for Aaron Gordon, Kelly Oubre for Brandon Clark and Justice Winslow, or Kelly Oubre and Cameron Johnson for Nemanja
That's interesting.
Bjelica and Marvin Bagley.
But I like Cam Johnson, what he's been
Some of those are
doing.
a little lopsided, they're not perfect, but they do have potential. And I'll admit, not all of these were perfect, but I tried to get creative and come up with at least one big.
All right, guys, that is the end of the video right there. I thought the trades overall were pretty solid. I mean, obviously, yes, it is going to be hard to do the perfect trade. I don't think the perfect trade really exists for any team out there. You know, you're always going to be giving up something, some sort of pick, some sort of value. But yeah, what do you guys all think, man? Do you like these trades? Let me know in the comment section below. Link to Austin Sweat's channel description below. Peace out.